If you have never watched my YouTube videos, then let me clearly state that these videos are not made for kids. The only video even relative is the one about my mustache. It's kind of, plain in sight that I have a mustache. These kids I know used to bully me. I don't want to be like the typical female, get so focused on her image, Even in that video, I cursed. It felt good that I impacted a child's life, but that's not my intention on my YouTube video. My name is Athena Lindsey. I make YouTube videos based on my naval experience. Speaking of which, there goes a jet. If you guys hear sounds in the background, it's basically the jets flying. The internet is changing in such a negative way, and there's almost nothing that we can do about it. Now the government has officially become involved in people being able to just be themselves. I thought that YouTube was meant for freedom of speech. It's a freedom. I feel so broken. I feel like I've been so free speaking, being behind the camera. It's been a part of me for so long, and now everything's about to change. In 1998, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act was established. And if you don't know what it is, it basically protects kids from being targeted by predators so they don't get their information confiscated or anything like that. You basically need a parent's permission in order to do so. But the problem was that YouTube and Google violated this act, and they basically ended up having to pay $145 million along with making changes to YouTube and their creators now. Now it's gotten to this point where there are certain guidelines that we're supposed to follow now and implement in all of our videos to make sure that they are made for kids or that they're not made for kids.
In order to help you comply with the law, we're now required to ask you to mark all of your videos as made for kids or not. You know your videos and audience best. We'll use machine learning systems to help us find content that is clearly made for kids.
The problem now is it's so vague. My videos are not made for kids. A lot of my target, according to my analytics, have all been in the ages between 16 and up. Anyone who has thought about going to the military or anyone who is currently in the military, it basically meets that demographic. Now, back to what's considered made for kids.
The subject matter of your video. Whether children are your intended audience for the video. Whether the video includes child actors or models. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures.
When I do my editing, I like to make people laugh. I like to make them feel a little bit more relatable. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I use a lot of characters and I use a lot of animation in my videos that makes it relative to people who are like me, who are millennials.
Whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but I know a lot of kids who curse and they shouldn't be, but guess what? It's because of what they're surrounded by. Whether or not the language is appropriate, the child is still gonna hear it at school. It freaking happens.
Whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs or games, or early education. Whether the video includes songs, stories, or poems that appeal to children, and any other information you may have to help determine your video's audience.
I include the whale of a tale from the movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from a Disney movie. And I use this at the beginning and end every main video that I have because I really like the song and I really find that it's very relatable to my life.
Got a whale of a tale to tell you lads, a whale of a tale or two, about the flapping fish and the girls I've loved on nights like this with the moon above. A whale of a tale and it's all true, I swear by my tattoo.
And the problem now is that if we do not comply, people who are getting monetized can be fined up to $43,000. And I'm not even sure if it also includes people who are not getting monetized. And for those of you who don't know, I am not getting monetized right now. I'm not making any money on YouTube. Although I did start my YouTube channel very early, around when the Jake Paul incident happened, and then they completely changed the way that they monetize. You basically have to get 1,000 subscribers and you have to get 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. The moment that I hit my halfway mark, this happened. Should I even bother continuing my content anymore? Should I even continue to do YouTube? I've spent hours and money and hours and sleep trying to make good content. Now, all in all, this is basically affecting every YouTube video out there. Every single YouTube video. And it's upsetting because I've been more of a YouTube viewer than I have been a creator. I see both sides now. I see how now it's affecting us. What can we do at this point? We can either claim that it's made for kids or claim that it's not, but with all that gray area to say something has character animation in it. So is Family Guy kid friendly? Is South Park kid friendly? Is Big Mouth kid friendly? We basically have become violated in being artists now. What can we do at this point? I say all of this to say that YouTube is just the start. It's becoming very repetitive. It's becoming to the point that every single social media at this point is going to be affected by this act. And I get it, we have to protect the kids, I get it. But when you're not specific about certain things, that leaves everything open to interpretation. Just like how in the military, when it comes to hair regulations for females, when it comes to like what's considered natural for this skin complexion, it's not the same thing considered natural for another skin complexion. But they list certain colors. But even in those colors, are you saying that this person can have blonde hair but this person can't? Even though on the other side of the world, people of that skin complexion have that same color that this person has. When you're not specific, it leaves things open for judgment. And the sad truth is, how can we judge art? Every social media is getting ready to change. Because if YouTube is getting hit with this, and Facebook has already gotten slack, that means that Instagram is coming next, Snapchat, TikTok, any social media out there is about to change. And the reason why this is so important is because if you classify something as considered for kids, now you're basically saying that you are no longer going to be allowed to have comments. You're no longer going to have end screens or annotations or any other way for whoever's watching your video to watch another one of your videos without having to go to your actual YouTube page.
Starting in January, if you mark a specific video as made for kids, features like comments, personalized advertising, info cards, end screens, and more won't be available on individual videos.
There are these boomers, baby boomers, who are in charge. So many people in power who should not be in power are basically trying to control something that they themselves don't fully understand. If a child is watching something on YouTube that they shouldn't be watching, it's not YouTube's fault. It's the parents' fault. There are two different parts of YouTube. You have YouTube main and then you have YouTube for kids. YouTube main is for 13 and over, YouTube kids is for below. So if a child is using their parents' login to comment on my mustache video, for example, whose fault is it? I don't really know what to do. I'm not even getting monetized yet, and I feel like I could get hit with a fine like that. Before every video from here on out, I will state at the beginning, this video is not made for kids. Although they use certain characters, although they use certain things, this is not made for kids. I refuse to be put in another fucking bubble. I already am in one. That's what the military fucking is. And it's just like, I can't be free at work. I can't be free outside of work at this point. One thing that makes me happy is making YouTube videos. There's a petition out right now on change.org to save family-friendly content on YouTube. The petition is very important because that's only the first part. The FTC, the ones in charge of creating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, is requesting for public comment on regulations.gov. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Write your opinions about it. A lot of people don't understand this, and this is really bad because you would think that it would be a common sense type of thing. Social media is so powerful. Anyone who has watched anything on social media has the ability to make change. There is so much power in the masses. You can't make any type of change without the masses being involved. I'm here to try and convince you guys, to try to make you understand that we need YouTube to stay the way that it is. We need people who are the parents to become more heavily involved in what their child is watching. This reminds me of the military. One team, one fight. And when one person gets in trouble, then everybody else ends up getting affected. It is literally the same thing that is happening right now. And I need you guys, if you have ever watched any of my videos, I just need you to just go sign that petition. Help to be a change. YouTube is so important. I have learned so much from YouTube than I did in life in a lot of different ways. Thank you guys for just being here so far with me. Everything's about to change in 2020. Just hoping that with the petition, with FTC, with YouTube, they head towards a better direction, because without YouTube, I don't know.